Okay, so please do not close the door because I might be dead after this video. Yeah. Good night, guys.
How does it feel inside?
Surprisingly not claustrophobic. I think it's really spacious. It's deeper than the normal cars.
Good morning, we're here at the Santa Monica Supercharger in Los Angeles, and today we're going to share with you our road trip journey from Los Angeles. And where are we going to, Rachel?
What's up, guys? We're going to Tesla Takeover.
Yes, it's a 3.5-hour drive to San Luis Obispo, and before we start, let's charge the Tesla. So it's Rachel's second time actually in the whole trip using the North America connector. Can you show us how to do it?
I think it's the same process as in Singapore. If you notice, it's a bit smaller. Very fast. Yeah, and this slot's really open.
That's it. So light and simple, right?
Yeah, so there was a review. So what? Yeah, so like
Yeah, like supercharger lah. So we're actually quite high state of charge.
Yeah.
The difference in the Model X is you can see that there's a driver's console. So we got about 20 minutes of charging over here. And so instead of just having a touchscreen in the middle like our 3-in-Y, this touchscreen is bigger, 17-inch, and we've also got a driver's display here. So when we use FSD Beta, it will show up here. And of course, we've got our own driver profile. So both Rachel and I will be taking turns driving throughout this week's road trips around California. How do you feel about making your first cross-city road trip outside of US?
I think it's in the beginning it was quite daunting. I think because it's my first time driving a car outside Singapore, and on top of that we're driving an opposite lane in the opposite seat. And I think this yoke steering wheel is just very new to me. I was quite nervous, but I think having the FSD really helps because I imagine it takes away like 70% of my worries. A lot of turns, if you notice, is quite a wide one because this car is pretty big as compared to a Model 3 that I have back in Singapore. And FSD really helps me because they notice like the cars around in a longer proximity and able to make certain turns that I won't be confident to do by myself.
So let's take a backseat to give you a short tour of our Model X while we wait for it to charge as well. Show us how to open the Falcon Wing door.
Oh. Where is it sound? Ta-da! Magic!
Very cool. So this is a 6-seater configuration. So the second row, there is a walk-through space. So we can head inside. And you can come join me inside. Enjoy the view. We've actually, I think this is our first time sitting in the second row.
You see the button here? That's how we close it. Now I feel like the NASA astronaut. Yeah, I think it's a glitch. Error 404. Let's try again. Oh, I have the whole... Yeah, this is definitely my first time.
Actually, you can press. So sometimes the Falcon Wing doors are a bit finicky.
Nice.
Yeah, actually one gentle press usually should work already. But if you long press, it's actually like a manual control.
Oh,
That's why.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, manual steering.
Hmm.
How do you find the space back here?
I think it's very spacious. I would say it feels a little bit like Model 3. One thing I really like about the car is if you notice the glass screen, right, it extends all the way back. Whereas for I think Model Y and Model 3 is quite similar, right? It stops halfway. But the bad thing, I guess, when you're driving and then the sunlight shining on your eyes, right? The shade isn't very well done. Yeah.
So you can see our Model X, we actually folded down our third row back seats. Rachel and I had a bit of drama trying to find out how to put down the third row back seats. There's actually a button in the sides here, a round button, and we press that, it gives us quite a lot of storage space. So I think this car can easily fit 6 people with their luggage if we need to on a long road trip. So now we're here at Santa Monica Supercharger. This is our third time here already. So let's give everyone a tour of this place because we don't see supercharger stations as big as this in Southeast Asia. Okay.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Tour guide.
Wait.
Soft press one time, can.
Soft press one time. Oh, okay. Click the video here to know how to open the car. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. I think you might want to hold it from the outside. There's a red button. Unfortunately, I'm not.
So if you're fun size,
Thanks. Yeah, so this is one of the larger supercharger area, and I understand from Daren there are 62 lots. I haven't really counted myself, but it's really very big. You can see a lot. And I think what's really unique that I don't really see in Singapore, I mean, besides the immense number of lots, we only usually have about 3 in Singapore. There's actually a solar roof, right? I'm not sure, it could be generating electricity as well. Besides that, there is a convenience area. Maybe you can walk towards there.
that is the original Model S. The owner is the SpaceX guy.
One thing I noticed is the cars here are generally not so clean as Singapore. Maybe it's the weather condition, or maybe people don't really maintain as well.
Also, people drive a lot here, so after a long road trip, right, your car gets in a rougher condition.
So the first time I was here, I thought that this could be a gift shop, but it isn't. It's actually, there are like 2 vending machines inside, and there's washroom and like a water dispenser. So yeah, you can even go in if you use the Tesla app. I think we tried. I can't remember how we did it. Yeah.
Let's find out together.
So open your Tesla app at the location, and then they will give you an entry code. I think 3340. I don't have my phone right now, so maybe I need to borrow somebody's phone.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think the whole interface, it looks identical. Let me see. So as for one thing cool, summon. I don't see that. Okay, let's look for location. Nearby charger. So Santa Monica. Yeah. This one. 38 lots. You don't see that in Singapore. It's usually single digit. Yeah, it's quite amazing.
The 38 lots is basically the whole Singapore supercharger network.
Okay. Entry code. Entry code here. 2131. Okay. So the pin code. There you go.
Da 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 da. So welcome. So this one's a small one. You got washrooms. You got vending machines. So snacks, salads, wraps. Down here. And down here we've got drinks. So very simple, fun size launch. We are good to go already. So Rachel's going to unplug and show us how easy it is to just leave a supercharger station once we're done.
Same. If you notice, it's very small, and the design wise, it looks a bit different. And I really like it that it's very easy to hold. It's just like that. Normally for Singapore, it's a much bigger socket, and then you have to push pretty hard and hear a click. But this is much easier. Yeah, and I feel it doesn't really damage the supercharger as much as the Singapore model.
Agree. North America charging standard is better for everyone. Engineers are trying to make this more of a global standard. You'll benefit a lot in South America and Africa where 3-phase charging isn't so common. So let's head inside and let's start our road trip.
I left the door open because I want to show you this feature, right? Usually you do a manual close. For this, you can just press the normal button and just close for you. Feels safer because you don't have to pull so hard. But at the same time, if you're doing parallel parking and there are cars behind, you worry about pressing a button because you don't know how far you go. So it's a bit dangerous.
So those doors have a sensor to try to detect, but again, if you're on a roadside and cars are coming, just be more careful. So same thing on my side. It closes. Okay, so how would you actually kick off the journey? Walk us through.
Okay, first thing, just want to show you that there are two screens, unlike the Model 3 and Y. So I think this screen is more tailored towards the driver. Tap to activate drive. So maybe I just change my profile first because we are using a rented car, so it's the default profile. So I'm just gonna change the seat for me. I think same for Model 3. The steering wheel is also adjustable to your preference, as well as the mirror. So the first thing, it's like the Model 3, you have to press the brake. But you notice that there aren't any buttons here. So you might wonder why. Because there's actually a side screen here. This is meant to replace the gearbox. So if you want to go, it's actually stripe up, but default is really here. If you hold P, you will park. And then if you want to reverse, press the brake again, then you swipe down. And then you see the cameras like any normal car. Yeah, so now I'm just going to go straight.
Drive northeast on Santa Monica Boulevard for 2.8 miles.
It's pretty long as compared to my drive in Singapore. Is usually up to maybe half an hour to an hour. 1 hour is only if it's jam. This is my first time taking a long road trip.
4 hours is basically like 8 round trips around Singapore.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
So we're gonna belt up and we're going to head out. I'll show you a little bit of LA city streets as we just make our way over.
Okay, so usually on the Model 3 screen, right, you see everything like the proximity of cars, but it's over here on the other hand, even the speed meter. The difference is this one, the main screen shows the navigation map, but I do know that in this side screen you also can see as well. So I'm just going to drive out.
And also for context, we have FSD Beta on this car as well. So we'll be activating it during parts of the trip.
So sometimes driving Model X can be a bit clumsy for me because I'm very used to like relying on this to do a turn. But for this case, I have to rely more on the bottom part of the wheel.
Now turn left onto 14th Street.
What we see in front, this is the original, the older part of this Supercharger station, in about 16 stalls here, which is already very big in itself. And they added the expansion with the Tesla solar roof, got 64 stalls. Once you see the blue yoke and also the blue lines, the car is on FSD Beta, the car is driving itself for us right now. Everything is being controlled by the car. The acceleration, the turn signals, the stop. You can see it stop for red light. Autopilot will not stop for red lights. You can sense the pedestrians as well on the street.
Just adjusting the temperature.
And as we wait, you can see the FSD model by going to software and you scroll down and you can see over here, this is FSD Beta 11.4.4. So it's not the latest one yet. I think there's 4.6, but it hasn't been rolled out to our Model X yet. So hopefully soon, the next few days, so that when we make the next road trip, going up to Bay Area and then coming back down to LA, we can show you the latest versions.
Yep, here we go. So there are cars parked in front. Let's see whether it's able to react. Okay, so it's able to detect that the cars are not moving and adjusted immediately. The main benefit is really changing in a crossroad junction because you have your own blind spot. Sometimes the car is blocking your view, but somehow this sensor is pretty good. Yeah, very wide range.
Oh look, there's a driverless vehicle next to us, over here.
Oh!
And then there's a
driver.
pilot in there.
Ah, cool.
So one thing we noticed, the first time being here in California, is that there are a lot of Teslas.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
Somehow it feels like Tesla is like the everyday car. I think in Singapore when people see Tesla, they were like, wow, that's a Tesla. But here it's like really normal. And I think Daren did a count, right? A visual count, and I think one of the days we counted more than 100.
Easily. Actually, when we did a tour of the Tesla Design Center, just walking around the day at Tesla Austria Club yesterday, there were more than 100 Teslas parked there already. So just now, the sound you heard was a fire truck driving past us.
Now turn right
And
onto
then
Cloverfield
automatically
Boulevard.
activated the navigation indicator. Alright, so this is a very confident car because I don't think I will be as confident to be able to drive so quickly and make a very big turn. Yeah.
Agree. So the good thing for FSD Beta is if you're a tourist, you're trying to learn the new roads or new city, it kind of like gives you a guide, like a tutorial, that you decide whether you want to follow or you want to slow it down. At any time with FSD Beta, you can always disengage at what you saw Rachel do when we're leaving the supercharger turn. Whether it's either it's not doing the right thing or you want to do it your way or you want to practice yourself or just drive because you also want to drive for fun as well. You can do it anytime. The goal is to reach your destination safely and comfortably, and of course not annoy any other drivers around us. So we're leaving Santa Monica.
And it's pretty smart car. I mean, just now when I was turning, right, usually you keep to the right lane because we did a right turn, but it kept to the left. I'm not sure because it detected there is a block lane or is it because we're going to turn left soon. So we do notice that the car tries to do an advanced planning and then will keep to the lane where it's a turning lane. Might not work well in the highway because I think cars are moving faster.
Agree. So we'll see you when we reach the freeways.
Yep. There we
That's an
go.
example.
That's why it's a beta mode.
That's right, this software is very, very good,
Yep.
but it's not perfect. So we'll see you soon when we reach the freeways. We are about half an hour into our trip. We just left Los Angeles. How was it driving FSD Beta so far?
I would say pretty relaxing for a first time driver. I'm a bit amazed that I'm on the fastest lane right now, but I guess that's the beauty of FSD.
You can see the freeway driving over here. So you've been driving a Tesla for 2 years, coming from Model 3 to Model X, making a road trip like that. What's your first impression?
At the beginning, when I know that I was going to drive a car in the first place, it's quite nerve-wracking to be honest because I think it's not about the roads. The roads you can certainly learn when you travel. I've been to US before, so I kind of know. I have expectation that I have to drive on the right side. I'm sitting on the left. I think that the thing that's unpredictable are the behaviors of the driver. You never know how they are in different cities, whether they are more patient or like they are more impatient. Yeah. So the FSD is quite helpful in terms of predicting the driver's behavior.
I agree. You can see the visualization in front. You see all the cars on the street.
I think so far we've seen 10 Teslas. There's another one there.
All her friends. Another one there.
All my friends. We're all going to Tesla takeover.
Probably a number of them are.
Not all, but most of them.
So we're here by the freeway, listening to country music. We can't play it in the video because we get copyright strike. And it's quite an experience, right? How do you find the view?
Yeah, with the FSD, I actually find myself being able to appreciate the scenery a bit more. If not for it, I would be focused on driving. I'll probably be on the second or third lane and just looking out for any unexpected behaviors from drivers around, or if I need to suddenly stop, or if there's going to be a jam in front. But I think right now I'm pretty chillaxed, so like chill mode, I'm very chill now. So I'm able to see the scenery, so I can even point with one hand. Yeah. But of course, we have to always be vigilant on the road.
So drive safe, but then you got more mental headspace to just enjoy the views here. And talking about landscape, because we're here in the Model X, you get a whole expensive glass roof to really enjoy the landscape around us. Let's take a look. Okay, so we're gonna have about an hour and a half of just mountain driving, as you can see around us, until we reach Santa Barbara. We'll take a rest stop there, do a short supercharger top up. Because while there's a supercharger station in San Luis Obispo, we're going to have a lot of people come to Tesla takeover, which means there likely will be queues at the Tesla supercharger over there. So the more buffer we give ourselves before going to San Luis Obispo, or SLO for short, locals call it, the less we have to worry about. So we'll see you soon. We reached the coastal drive after Santa Barbara also.
It'd be very nice to take a picture right now.
Yeah. How do you find the coastal view?
I think it's so awesome. The sea on the left, the mountains on the right, and we're just right in the middle. It's like a wallpaper.
That's right, it is. Let's look at that. So it's a bit foggy up front. You can see trailer, camper vans parking by the side.
So awesome.
This is the life. So compared to your expectations for the coastal drive, exceed, met, or below expectations?
Really excited. It's so awesome. You never get this view in Singapore. So awesome.
I agree. Let's check out the view and enjoy it. So this is one big reason why road trips are so popular in the US. Driving across the country, going to national parks, taking in different terrain. There's a Model Y in front of us with a very interesting attachment behind it, you can see. So it looks pretty cool, right? Normally cars have bike racks behind, or they'll have extra storage above. So you should come check out TeslaCon Singapore to see more interesting mods like that. We're 3 minutes away from our Supercharger stop at Santa Barbara. This time, there is a waiting time. So usually you'll see a number of stalls available, but you see a clock sign. It shows us that we need to wait less than 5 minutes. So all 16 stalls are currently taken. This is a 250 kilowatt V3 supercharger station. And what just happened, Rachel?
I don't know. I think the car was a bit indecisive. It didn't know whether it should be turning or not. Wait, it shouldn't be. So so that's why it hesitated.
So we're gonna need to make a lane change to the right and continue going straight.
Clumsy hands. Okay, take over from here.
Yeah, talking about that, how's the yoke steering so far? 2 hours in.
I think on the highway I won't really feel much because my hand is more focused about keeping the pressure. But now when I'm really making turn, especially at 90-degree turn, it's a bit of a struggle for me.
So later we'll try auto park if it's available once we find an open stall. So if our friends from Singapore are coming to California, would you recommend them to try a Model X?
Model X, I think it's only necessary if you have like a big group, like maybe 4 friends, or maybe if a lot of luggages. Other than that, I think the S3 or Y would suffice. Yeah, because the car is very big. Sometimes I struggle. Because when we're making a turn, sometimes FSD doesn't really work well in sharp turns, and I have to do a manual turn. At the same time, it's a very wide turn, so I worry. Yeah.
Agree, this is a very big car. Look behind us, so much empty space. So for me, last month I took a Model Y on a road trip. It's smaller. It's funny for Singaporeans to say that Model Y is smaller, but actually Model Y is considered a very mid-sized car here in the US. This is very luxurious. Road noise, we noticed was a lot more silent in this trip.
Okay, there are a lot of empty stalls. Bit of a queue. I'll just wait for the car.
So there's one empty stall right now near the red Model 3, but I think this red Model 3 is going to go. Maybe this guy is going out. Let's see.
Should I wait around?
We'll wait.
Oh, I just put a hazard light.
So normally what we do when we need to wait is we actually reverse back a bit so that all the other Teslas who are coming in know that we are waiting for a supercharger stall.
It's nice to see so many colors. Because in Singapore, I think everyone likes to choose white.
If money was not an object, what would be your favorite color?
I think Tiffany blue would be nice.
So we may have a Tiffany blue Model X in TeslaCon Singapore. So come check it out yourselves. Fingers crossed we can bring one in. Okay, we found a stall. It was a short wait. I think we waited about 2 minutes. So let's try and see whether we've got auto park.
Let me just reverse.
Yes! Let's show auto park.
Oh, cool. You can see how clumsy it gets on the wheel.
Yeah, so observe the yoke. So actually Rachel can actually totally let go of her hands. This one we can be hands-free because we're not on the main road.
Yeah, but if I would be holding onto it, it's very difficult, especially the sharp turns.
This one's actually pretty solid.
Yeah, it's really tight as well. Can you?
We made it. How do you find auto park?
We'd love to see how it gets applied for parallel parking.
That's true. We rarely see that. Okay, let's go charge the car. So you can see in this case it's pretty tight. The door would gently open because you don't want to hit the other Tesla right outside. Pick up our phones from these wireless chargers. And you press this button to close the door easily.
Is that it? Some means it's not charging, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So blue means it's talking to each other, negotiating. Green, good to go.
Yeah.
So how do you feel right now? Energy level from 1 to 10. 1 totally KO, 10 max energy.
I feel a bit tired because it's been quite a long ride, and I think because it got disabled for a while, so it took a bit of my energy. I'm just glad to make it to this destination. Yeah.
Well, congrats, high five. Longest road trip ever. So after this, who's driving?
I don't know, maybe the person beside me.
Beside me.
You know?
You have so many friends here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll be here for about 10-15 minutes. So it is spot here in Santa Barbara. There's supermarkets, restrooms. We also need to supercharge ourselves before we continue our way to SLO. See you all soon. We just made a short 10-minute charging stop. Got some snacks, our salad and grapes. Got our coffees from Starbucks. And so Rachel's been driving. So if you're on a road trip with partners, which I highly recommend too, sometimes we need to rest. Rachel needs to recover a bit. So it's my turn to take one for the team. So one thing we can do is change the driver profile over here. So earlier it was Rachel's profile. You can see the steering wheel, the chairs were different. So now when I pick mine, there you go. It's all our settings. Okay, right now we are going to Madonna Inn, and it's an hour and a half drive. So I've got my phone. This is a backup navigation because sometimes the car 4G loses signal. And use the voice command here on the yoke. Just press this button. Navigate to Madonna Inn. So this is an example where the car does not have signal. It may not be able to navigate. So what we do is we can manually enter a postcode. 93405. There you go. We'll click on this. We may have to make some changes later, but at least for now, this gets us to use FSD Beta to navigate to our city. So with that, we're ready to begin.
Good luck, Daren. The next 2 hours belongs to you.
FSD Beta, help us. So tap to activate drive, feet on the brake, and then arrow forward means it's on drive mode. We are ready to go. So turn signals on the left and right. Let's head out. We can actually just go forward since it's uninstructed. I'll only activate FSD Beta once we reach main roads because it doesn't always work on private roads like this. From here, we double tap the right scroll wheels. FSD Beta is activated. You can hear the chime. It's going to help us make a left turn. So the roads are clear. It's doing everything.
It's a bit jerky.
A bit jerky, yeah? Could be smoother. And it needs to make a right turn because we're going.
Now turn right onto Kai Real.
So spin it out, and we're now going to drive towards the freeway. It is an hour and a half. We'll see you back again when we reach closer to Madonna Inn, where Tesla Takeover will be held. We just left Santa Barbara about 10 minutes ago. You can see this single lane, very curvy roads. FSD Beta is doing an excellent job, which allows us to enjoy these kind of really scenic views. We're quite high above sea level right now. So these are quite sharp turns. It's really steady. It's following the cars along the way. My foot's on the ground because personally I noticed that the pedals, both the brake and accelerator, are more sensitive on the Model X compared to a 3-in-1. So when I rest my foot there, sometimes it accidentally disengages FSD Beta. See the ocean, a little bit of ocean before we put in then. Yeah, so you can see my right foot's actually resting on the ground, but ready to both tap into the brake or accelerator when needed. It's like some of us in Singapore recognize this as phantom braking. So far, we haven't really noticed any major phantom braking. Do you, Rachel?
I think it's only on the roadside.
Mm.
If the car feels there is an obstacle in front,
Yeah.
even though it's not, you just suddenly brake off. But it's a very soft brake, so it's not bad.
So I think FSD Beta is getting better. Yeah, so you can see it's expertly doing very well. The big difference at FSD Beta on S and X is that all the visualizations here, so it's a bit smaller for us. You can see the blue line directly. There is no option to move the beta visualization to this big 17-inch screen, which is a shame because this will be a beautiful screen to showcase everything. This is a bit too much screen for a map. So I hope you enjoyed this nice mountain road. See you soon in Medina. We are 45 minutes towards Madonna Inn in San Luis Obispo. Here you can see the sign there, Los Alamos. And look at the fields with the growing crops. Very nice country drive. We saw horses earlier. Not just horses in the fields, but also a horse being transported probably to another ranch. So far, very little disengagements. FSD Beta is very confident. It's excellent on the freeways, which makes the drive even more joyful than it already is. So imagine you're driving an ice car like the Jeep in front of us. You've got to manually pay attention, stay in the center of the lane, do your lane changes, do your adjustments. Here the car is doing everything for us. Very lucky. We have reached San Luis Obispo. Madonna Inn is on our right.
500 feet, turn right. Now turn right.
So it's quite a drive. Unfortunately, our FSD Beta has been disengaged. I think it was a bit aggressive in requiring pressure in the steering wheel. So it's manual driving right now. I'll switch it to autopilot. So let me make a turn. Yeah, so we'll switch it to autopilot for the rest of our trip. That's Madonna Inn. Big sign on our left. Big pink sign. First time here.
And there's a supercharger.
And that's a supercharger. So maybe let's go there so we can use the restroom. Take a short break as well.
It's good.
Guess everyone here, most people here, will be coming to Tesla Takeover. Oh, the car is complete. Okay. One more stall. Let's see if we're able to use auto park. At least give us auto park.
Yeah, man.
Okay, to reverse, just swipe down, go to the bay. And stop and press the auto park. So again, no hands needed on the wheel, it does everything. As a driver, just monitor for pedestrians, for cats. Ta-da, we made it. So forward drive to SLO. So you see this sign here? It'll give a warning there are 5 strikes. If we hit all 5, we can't use FSD Beta anymore on this trip. So again, I feel that on the Model X, the requirement to use pressure was too much. So what we're going to do right now is go and click OK. And we want to preserve FSD Beta to use in city streets, especially when we come back to LA. So we go to the car, we go to autopilot, and I'm going to switch now to auto steer beta. So this is just our standard enhanced autopilot. It's good enough for most freeway driving, which is 95% of our drive. So with that, we will still have the FSD beta visualization here, just that it will not do lane change or traffic light stops for us. Okay, so the trip is done. My final verdict on driving with the Model X. It's a really comfortable car to drive. It is really silent. The interior is luxurious. When Rachel and I first got in here on Wednesday, it was so wide and spacious. You can see that it almost feels like a room over here. But let's ask Rachel's experience this time as a passenger. How was it for you, Rachel?
Definitely more relaxing because I'm not driving. I get the full view. I think that's something that I really appreciate. It's a bit unfortunate that FSD didn't work out quite well as we wanted. I do agree that they're quite strict on the pressure because we were clearly paying attention on the road. So yeah, so I think we should reserve that for the last mile of the journey.
Agree. Right now, let's charge and we're going to do our volunteer briefing very soon for Tesla Takeover. So we'll just do a short top up. Again, in North America, we're using the North America charging standard. Blue means it's communicating. We're waiting for green for a full charge. This is taking a while to communicate and now we are charging. So we'll see you soon. Let us know what questions you have for both of us on this Model X road trip from Los Angeles to St. Louis Obispo here for Tesla Takeover. If you found this video useful, please click the like button and hit subscribe.
See you.
To stay updated to more videos on Tesla. Bye bye.